Hey, data streamer.
Yo, what's up, the GU?
So I came across the internet and I saw like soldier uniforms in the military, which were like very high tech, advanced, almost like exoskeletons, almost like Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, power.
and
Nice.
yeah, man, it's or Iron Man, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, in Cyberpunk 2077, even the police have uniforms like that.
Yeah, they do. I mean, well, of course, in that world, there's a lot of like really advanced cybernetics, but also like exoskeletons stuff. But the thing is that we're not seeing cybernetics just yet, but we are indeed seeing the exoskeleton type of technology creeping up here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of that stuff, but the things you saw, they're most likely like prototypes, because I mean the military is not using that stuff yet, but there's a lot of like companies that are trying to make advanced prototypes of these what do you call it? Yeah, of these devices or whatever, and yeah, it's something you mostly see in like civilian stuff if they're sold like if you ever go like what do you call it paintballing, sometimes you would see people with like these kind of like weird futuristic outfits running around and
Oh
kind
yeah.
of stuff. So that happens there as well. Also there's like I saw some guys from Linus Tech Tips. They reviewed an exoskeleton. I think I sent you a video about it as well. It's kind of like legs, just the legs. So the guy was like could
Oh
like
yeah.
run faster or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll look it up and post a picture on the screen so you can see what it is. But I forgot the name. But that stuff is not available for military. But the military is testing with it, but that device is you could just buy it. It's like just your upper legs. It's not like double, so it's not a weight carry thing because there are some exoskeletons that are like the full leg, and you could carry more weight because of that because it's like the full leg. This is just like the upper leg, the thighs, and just like kind of
Yeah.
like lets you run faster. You know,
Are they actually using those kind of stuff already in the Ukraine war?
I don't think they're using the exoskeletons. The Ukraine war is more focused uh, on heavily focused on cybernetic stuff and also drone warfare. Drone
What kind
war.
of cybernetic stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like hacking going on with Ukraine war. A lot of
Right, right.
taking down infrastructure through hacks, that kind of stuff. But they're also allies of Ukraine are being attacked. That kind of stuff. Like there was a large scale DDoS attack in the Netherlands last week, where the group that claimed it said it was because the Netherlands gave support to the war, to Ukraine in the war. That's why they did it. That was like last week. So there's a lot of that stuff going around. But what people are mostly talking about, most notably with the Ukraine war, is that it's drone war. So
Oh
like,
yeah.
and didn't even start like that. It was interesting to see the evolution because at the start it was all about like artillery shells. I mean, it still is all about artillery shells, but at
Hmm.
the first year it was like kind of like your normal trench war, like
Yeah.
World War I, that level stuff, trench war
Yeah.
craziness, you know,
Yeah.
and
With
then
yeah.
then suddenly they started using cheap drones for reconnaissance. That's
From
what they,
China.
yeah. I mean, the China builds. I mean, they mostly come from China because China's like, yeah, they make most of the things these days. So yeah, it's really hard to find a drone from somewhere else. But so they started with like just for reconnaissance and that kind of stuff. But after a while, they figured out that they could like put grenades on these.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it started out with really simple, like just put a grenade on it and whatever, and just like whatever. And then it kept, they were like, hey, wait a minute, this is working really well. So then now it's like complete insanity with these drones. It's like a video game now. It's like a complete video game, you know?
Yep. Uh,
Uh, so yeah, so that evolution happened like in the last year and a half of the conflict or so.
yeah.
You
So
know,
so there's an extra, yeah, extra type of, yeah, what do you call it, unit. Currently, like, I mean, before we have the infantry, we have
yeah,
the tanks, we
yeah,
have the uh,
yeah,
airplanes and stuff.
yeah.
But now drones are part of the game as well.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, we've had drones. We've had drones for a long time, by the way. Um,
yeah, sure,
they
yeah,
they used military drones in the Vietnam War. There are Vietnam era drones still around. You can see them in museums and that kind of stuff. Um, but the they were large devices. They were really large. They were pretty big, and the these days it's like a 10 centimeter 15 centimeter FPV drone, first person viewing drone, and it's like um it comes at you at high speed because they're using racing drones. It's not just your normal whatever drones, they're racing drones, yeah.
yeah,
So it's like it's a completely different ballgame because the most people don't even see them. I mean, you would think they're loud because they're fucking loud. They're crazy loud.
yep,
But even then, they may be loud, but they come at you. Some of these racing drones could get to 200 kilometers an hour. I mean,
yeah,
you've seen the drone shows, right? The racing drones. You've seen videos of that. It's like insane how fast they
yeah.
are.
It's like Wipeout, but then,
Yeah,
Wipeout the racing game,
yeah,
but then
yeah,
like with drones. It's
yeah. Exactly, exactly. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy
yeah,
how that evolution happened. And the
yeah. Super interesting how the Ukraine war is pretty cyberpunk as well.
yeah,
As you
yeah,
mentioned, hacks and drones and
yeah. There's also like a lot of like misinformation, like a lot of AI misinformation, that kind of stuff. People generating videos and that kind of stuff. The entire arena of the Ukraine war, there's a lot of fog of war, as they call that, which is like,
yeah,
yeah, you don't know what's real or not or whatever, that kind of stuff. People's voices being manipulated, like AI regenerated voices. Somebody said that they said something or didn't or whatever, that kind of stuff. A lot of that stuff going around. Also, the drones aren't like just the FPV drones. They have sea drones as well that are driven just like the FPV. So they're it's like this little boat loaded with explosives, and then they're like chasing down these big boats.
what?
Yeah, it's insane. It's pretty crazy, and then they're just driven just like the FPV drones. They're just controlled that way. I saw a video of from a Russian boat that they had a Ukraine water drone was chasing them, and that was insane to see. The thing was they couldn't hit it. They couldn't take it down because it had extreme armor, I think, because it kept getting shot. They kept shooting it and it kept coming. It was the scariest thing you ever seen. But that reminded me actually of like in I don't know if this is the same in other Cyberpunk stories, but I know that in Cyberpunk 2077 we can't use the sea anymore in that game
Oh,
because the
why?
sea, yeah, because of the last wars, the sea is full of autonomous drone weapons that will kill anything
Oh,
they in sight. that's that's not in the video game. That's in the tabletop game. In the video game, they didn't cover that. But
ah,
so all transport happens through the air in Cyberpunk 2077.
yeah,
Nobody can use the sea. So that made me think of that because as soon as these drones become autonomous weapons, they can just loiter on the ocean and just whatever. And then you're like and if you make them electric with solar panels, oh boy, you know, who
Yeah.
cares anymore? You know what I mean?
And especially because they are also, since a for defense are using a kind of like EMP
Yeah,
to get rid of, to break the connection between the
yeah, exactly.
drone driver and the drone itself.
Yeah, they
They
jam.
are
Yeah,
they're yeah, so they jam it. They are using AI
yeah,
now
yeah.
to maneuver the drones into the enemy.
Yeah. That's like
So
the last like the last 50 meters or so is AI. Because it's like exactly what you said. They jam the signal so you can't control the drone anymore. So what they do is that before the drone gets into the jamming zone, they set the target. They tell the drone brain knows, okay, that's the target. I'm going for it. And then when the pilot loses connection, the drone can still fly and chase the target. They can still chase. That's the important part. They can chase after the target. So um, the step, the right now is used as a final step. But I mean, yeah. So the thing is that currently the technology is built that it just takes over the last second, the last 50 meters or whatever, the last few bits. But there is actually not much stopping them from implementing this technology to just take over the entire thing. You know, I mean,
yep.
technologically, there's nothing preventing that. There is literally whatever. The issue is of course that you would have to somehow design the AI in such a way that it would know who the enemy is. That's the usefulness of having the pilot control it, and then the pilot sees, oh, that's the target, and then set, okay, this is the target. Then the AI knows, okay, that's the target. That's fine. That works pretty well because humans can identify the targets easily, but the AI can't. But when you get into the zone of letting the AI also take over the target acquisition part, the target identification part, you know, all that stuff, then you're getting into crazy territory. Then you're getting into territory of Cyberpunk 2077, where the seas are flooded with AI weapons that kill everything in sight. You
Yeah.
know, that's the problem. And honestly, I think we're going that way. I think that's what's gonna happen. Not necessarily that the AI weapons are gonna be unstoppable in the sea, but that the the AI control of the drone will start moving more towards the human part than not, and they will just release a bunch of drones. Like it's like like carpet bombing. Like back in World War II,
Yeah.
they carpet bomb, except they fly over and they just release like thousands of drones over an area, and then they just like
Oh
this,
shit. Whoa.
instead of like it'll be fucking insane. Instead of like the area being bombed to crap, all these drones were just like kill people, you know, and that's it.
Holy shit.
And
That's
then
scary. Yeah.
and then it's like, yeah, you just walk into the city, just everybody's dead. The city is intact. Sure, you have to clean up a bunch of dead bodies, but whatever, that's the city's not bombed to hell. you know that that
Oh yeah. Well.
that level
Well.
of insanity.
Oh, will that happen? Yes or no? I thought about the same, but like imagine a bomb that, and inside of the bomb you insert like the Japanese killer hornets,
Oh,
a
that kind of stuff.
swarm,
Yeah,
a
that kind of
nest,
stuff. Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you drop that kind of bomb, and then yeah, the same
Bio
effect will
warfare.
happen then.
Yeah, bio
Yeah,
warfare. Yeah.
bio war.
I mean,
Whoa.
the anime Trava Fist Planet. It's a short anime, like 45 minutes, from Takeshi Koike. Um,
Uh-huh.
that anime, it it didn't show the war, but in the past of that anime, in the lore, there was this people, and I think they actually literally said it, that people thought nuclear weapons were the scariest thing, but actually drone weapons were the most insane thing humans made, because drone weapons, they just they're more relentless. Like a nuke, you can just drop a nuke and that's it, and whatever. It's kind of like yeah, you could kind of drop it and it's like, okay, it's dropped, okay, whatever. And then like, yeah, there's a lot of shitty aftermath. I mean, we see it with Hiroshima and Nagasaki, radiation, all that stuff is pretty nasty. Blah 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 blah. Okay, but drone weapons, it's like, especially the way that it was described in Trava Fist Planet, because there was like, it's like a sci-fi. But there, they dropped entire drone swarms on planets, and they just ravaged the entire planet. They just went across the planet, just running around, getting everything. So
So
that's,
it'll induce so much fear.
yeah. And the in the anime, they described it as being worse than nuclear bombs, just because you were not safe. A nuke is dropped and it's dropped. Whatever, it's fine. And nukes are usually dropped on like specific targets. People are not gonna drop a nuke in the middle of nowhere, completely useless. So during like nuclear war stuff, people can realistically, people could probably escape to like the mountains or something. Something that's not a target. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But with these drones, the drones were chasing people everywhere. And the same thing happened in Horizon Zero Dawn. You've played that game?
A bit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how far you got, but when you get further into the story, you find out that the world got destroyed because they had these drones that they developed.
Oh,
But the main thing that these drones had was that they derived their energy from metabolizing other animals, so they could eat for energy.
right.
So the thing was that the makers were like, yeah, this way the drone can like survive for longer or something like that, without having to refuel or whatever. So the drone could, but then the issue was that it just started eating to survive, and it like and they had like entire swarms of these things that were just eating everything everywhere they went. It was just it was insane, and no animal could stop them. And eventually they came for humans as well. They started just eating everybody, and you couldn't stop them because they could metabolize. They needed animals for food, and they could also fabricate new drones and stuff like that. So that was pretty much the lore. That's also a story. Horizon is kind of like a post Cyberpunk story. It's what happens because a lot of Cyberpunk stories have two options when it comes to their conclusions. And Horizon went for the apocalypse conclusion, because there's the other
Oh,
option that you see often two options. So apocalypse, or we turn it to a spacefaring nation, or a spacefaring planet, and like start traveling to
right.
stars. That's what happened with the end of Neuromancer. We got like alien contact or some weird stuff like that. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's also solar punk. Maybe we can talk about it one day.
Yeah, Solar Punk. I'm not really. I don't know much about it.
There's no much media about it, but
There's very little
yeah,
media
I
about
can
it.
understand. I can understand that. I can foresee that that's another ending of Cyberpunk.
Possibly. That's like if like you have like cyber technology, and then like the development goes in the direction of like more cleaner energy, and like try to save the planet, and plus instead of just trying to destroy it, that kind of stuff. That's also a thing that could happen. Yeah, but so in Horizon Zero Dawn, those drones started killing everything. In Travel Fish Planet, the same thing happened. The thing was, in Travel Fish Planet, they accidentally found one of those drone weapons on a deserted planet, and the drone weapon reactivated, and they were like, half the show they were running for their lives from this insane drone weapon. That was the plot of the show of the story. Yeah, so uh, yeah, that seems to be the future we're headed for. You know,
Mhm.
yeah, because of the Ukraine war. Ukraine war really like okay, that's really uh the direction we're most likely going to, because we're seeing already the developments that are leading us towards that kind of thing.
So, all right. So now we are working. They're working with drones, and so during war, the warfare and the weapons and everything and the tactics they change over time, right?
Yeah,
In a more rapid way because they need it as soon as possible, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, well, again, they are already making robots and stuff. So we are also not far away to have not drones but droid warfare.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Because like the I mean, the drones are fine and all. It works, but it's really actually no more than like a grenade that you can move around. You know,
Yeah.
so even if you kill a bunch of guys with your drone somewhere, you're gonna have to go over there with humans at one point and like actually claim the land. You know what I mean?
Uh,
So, well, what are you gonna do? You could make a bigger drone that they can't kill as easily and send the bigger drone there to claim the land. You could turn a tank into a drone and have a fleet of tanks. Possible. But, like having humanoid robot drones would make it a lot easier because that means that they can also go inside of buildings and walk upstairs, walk downstairs. They can get down holes. You know, they could basically do the things that humans can do, and they can go into the places that humans can hide because you have a tank, and if you hide somewhere and you can just drop a bomb on the tank from your hiding spot, that's it, tank over, it's done. You know what I mean? But if you have the robot can crawl into the hiding spot and take out the human, that kind of stuff. You know,
oh yeah.
so yeah, I think if you really want to push forward with this technology, you're gonna have to have some kind of animal drone, not just these flying, you know, insect drones, whatever. These annoying mosquito drones or whatever. You're gonna have to have some kind of dog drone, cat drone, human drone, something that can like walk around and run down a human, can take a human out of their hiding spot, that kind of stuff.
But yeah, then the as we see in cyberpunk media, government will also make use of tools like that. I already saw something like in China, they're going to use a robot like rolling thing and dogs to to warn people if they're doing something bad on the street.
Oh yeah, China's been experimenting with a lot of like these big drones to like tell people what to do and stuff like that. I mean, sure, it's a thing. There's a lot of stuff like that, and I mean, at one point, somebody's gonna figure out a good design. It's inevitable. It's coming. It's coming. Like I saw one time this Russian robot military robot project. I actually thought it was a brilliant idea, by the way, where they have a humanoid robot, a human. So it's an android that would just walk with the soldiers, whatever, blah 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 blah. But it can the actual purpose of it is that it can drive cars. So the purpose is that it you could turn any car into an autonomous driving vehicle. So they just put them in this driver's seat, and then it's supposed to just drive the car autonomously. So you could have an autonomous car anywhere you go. You could have your soldiers occupied with other things while the robot drives and does all the whatever, and they get it so they can get away. That kind of stuff. I thought it was actually a pretty brilliant idea because 90% of the cars out there are like old, whatever, and they have no technology to whatever, to do anything. So if you want an autonomous car of some kind, you have two options. What people usually do is that they completely overhaul the entire car and like replace motors and that. It's crazy. You have to turn it into an electric car. It's all this crazy stuff. But with this Russian idea, I was like, hey, you just drop this robot in the driver's seat, and there you go. You have an autonomous drone car. You're done. You could grab a truck from the 1940s, and it's suddenly an autonomous drone truck. You know, like it doesn't matter what you do. You have. So I thought that was one of the best ideas I've seen of out of the military drone projects. If it works, yeah, I'm not sure if it's gonna work properly, but the idea is solid. And if they work on it long enough, I'm pretty sure they can make it work, because usually what happens in war zones is of course that there's no traffic. You know, no, you're not worried about hitting other cars or whatever. So it's like that's the main thing with like these autonomous cars, that they have trouble in traffic. Traffic is chaos. But usually when there's like this crazy war zone, it's like who cares? There's nothing around, you know. So you're just driving in emptiness. So it will, for a robot, it won't even matter, you know. But you know, like the I mean, we're talking about like all this stuff, like, oh yeah, it's really scary. The drones are gonna come after you, blah blah blah. But the other side of this thing, and maybe to end on a more positive note, you know, not just doom and gloom over here.
Yeah.
You know, the other side of this thing is that the more, because we talked about earlier about like that you know, the AI part that takes over the drone at the last second so that it can still fly inside the jammer, that stuff. We talked about earlier that the AI part will probably creep more and more towards the pilot, towards the soldier. So they would be replaced by just fully AI drones. The good part about that is that we'll probably have less deaths inside a battlefield, because it'll be armies of, at one point you might have just armies of drones just slaughtering each other out there, and nobody and like soldiers aren't gonna die as much as they do now. The only problem with that is, of course, that the civilian population is still there. So, you know, if you get the civilians out, you can literally have a free-for-all inside the city. And, you know, there's the deaths, military deaths are going to be diminished heavily. You know, that could be a positive about all of this weird drone developments that we're seeing now, you know.
That'll be very interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially if you try to think about it on how that would even evolve. Well, because then we are almost going Star Wars.
Oh yeah, like the what was the Clone Wars?
Yeah.
With the separatists with the robot army. I mean, yeah, it's you know, it's pretty crazy everything how that goes, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the robots, for example, Boss Dynamics, they really remind me of the droids now.
Oh yeah.
Like again, we're not far from that.
We're not far from that. I mean, Boston Dynamics, those robots, those are proven to be able to run around in the forest, going down hills and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So,
they're even more agile than the droids from Star Wars.
They are more agile. So it's wild. So yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty good for that technology. In the next 10 years, I'm pretty excited, actually. I mean, less excited about the war stuff, but you know,
yeah.
I mean, who would be excited about that? But you know, it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good.
And on that note, dear listeners, thank you so much for listening. Please support us by liking, subscribing to our channel, and we will see you in the next episode. Oh yeah, we also have a Discord channel. Join our Discord channel so we can have a discussion there as well.
Yeah, definitely. We've had some good discussions lately, so that's pretty good. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.